Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm super excited to have you here again for another installment of new features at ClientCircle. We have been doing this for the past several weeks. We're slowly announcing new things that we have coming. And today I'm really excited to talk about sales and service pipelines. So we're going to get right into it. As you join the webinar, make sure that you say hi. Open up the chat, say a few words. That is going to be the primary use for asking questions. So I have a few team members that are watching for questions as they come in. So make sure that as you have things that you're thinking about as you're watching this, go ahead and type those in the chat and ask. Or if you see something that you like and you want to comment about it, please put that in there as well. We really want to have a good conversation with everyone today. And again, this is going to be a really short webinar to really introduce these features. You're going to see things that are not released yet, but they will be coming very soon, where you're collecting a lot of feedback on these tools now and making adjustments and things like that. And we really hope to have these things launched for you as soon as possible. But before I dig into things, I do want to just say a couple of quick words about ClientCircle and who we are, and really how long we've been around. So we've been here in the insurance industry, innovating and building new software and services since about 2013. And our goal is to always make sure that we're thinking about what you need to help your business grow. So primarily, we have been working on marketing automation. So we have really solid marketing automation tools for you. Of course, from day one, we have been a referral platform to help you really boost your word of mouth and get as many referrals from customers that are likely to refer you as possible. And our platform is great for improving retention. We have a lot of built-in communications that can help you retain more customers, and in general, build better relationships with customers. And then, of course, report on that through a really solid analytics platform where you can look at all of your data and slice and dice it in lots of different ways. Of course, there's a lot more to that. You know, we do everything from email to text messaging, handwritten cards, and automated letters, and pretty much any way that you can think to communicate with customers, we do it. Even today, I'm going to show you a little bit about websites because I want to show you how our website platform can help you collect data and flow into some of these processes. So ClientCircle really is made for every type of agency out there. Your small agencies that are just one or two employees, all the way up from large firms that have multiple locations across the country. We have a great enterprise product that helps you distribute what you're about to see to every agency using the platform. And thousands of agents have been using ClientCircle for many, many years. But today we are here to talk about sales and service pipelines. If you have watched our prior webinars, you've already seen the customizable UI. We have a replay for that, so go check it out. I'm going to show a little bit more about that today. Also, tasks and notes, we talked about that. Inbox sync is the ability for you to be able to connect your Gmail and Microsoft email so that we're retrieving and synchronizing any email with customers in our platform. And again, today we're about sales and service pipelines. And coming up next week, we're going to talk about enhanced automations, specifically around sales and service pipelines. So I'm going to show you how you can create new and different automations to help automate your processes and make it as easy as possible. So I really want to get into the demo. I'm going to flip over to demo mode here in a second. I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint, flip over and share my screen. And I'm going to show you demos 1 second. Let me flip that over. Okay, so if you have watched the prior videos over in the left nav, especially when I was talking about the new UI, you probably saw the sales section. I haven't really gone into it until detail, but I'm going to today. This is where you're going to find all of your pipelines. Of course, you can create as many different pipelines as you want. I have a couple samples here, personal lines and a commercial lines pipeline that we're going to use. But the whole point of all of the updates that we have been making over the past several weeks is that you are in control of how you want your processes to work in your agency. So we're going to get you started with some nice defaults. So we're going to add a couple of pipelines in there when you start the platform, and we'll have some statuses, of the deals in there. But please customize them and make this your own. The whole point of what we want to do is to help you build the workflows that work best in your agency with your team and how you run things. And so you're going to be able to do that with this platform. And I'm going to show you how you can customize things today. But let's get started by just showing you a couple of the defaults. This default here, we have on our personal lines pipeline, we have a new status. These are for deals that have come in that you have recognized as something that you want to work, and they are in the new status. As you start working on those, they go into in progress. And of course, once the quote has been sent to the customer, then we have it in quoted. And then we have a finalizing status here that can be used. Maybe you're going back and forth with the customer. They have some questions. They want to change things. You can put it in that finalizing status to kind of work on it. So that's sort of the default, that we have with this particular pipeline. But of course, you can customize it and change it however you want. I'm going to show you how to do that there in a little bit. But before we do, I want to show you some of the neat features around our pipeline. First of all, haven't really dug into card view too much in the new UI because I knew I was going to cover that in today's flow. But one of the neat things about our cards is that you can really sort them in any order that you want. And that's helpful for priority and things like that. So if you want to, you can move the things that you want to work on first up to the top. And that way your team knows the things that are maybe the most important. Of course, we do have a priority status as well. So we have that on here. It's just low, urgent, normal, and high, I think, are the statuses that we have here. And you can use those as well. But I really like the sorting capability. The demo only has a few pieces of data in there, but we know in real life you're going to have more things. So you're going to want to move those things around. Of course, as you're working on your deals and the status of those things change, you can then put them into different statuses as well. And just drag and drop them, and that works. Now, if you do have a lot of data, you might think, man, I really wish I could see this in a more condensed view. And that's what table view is all about. So table view, very similar to card view, except I can see a lot more data in a more condensed view here. But you still get all of the nice drag and drop capabilities. So for example, if I want to move a quoted item up to in progress, or move it backwards, I guess, then you can do that as well. If I need to move something to finalized, of course, I can do that. I'm not going to do that now on this one, but you can kind of see that just because you're looking at a different view doesn't mean that you don't get the same functionality in terms of moving things around, which is really nice because you don't have to sacrifice the usability based upon the view. So I really like our table view. And also in table view, very similar to card view, as you open an item up, you get the full detailed view of things. So that's same on card view. Let's go back to card view. You can see when I click on card view, I get the same details there. So let's go look at one of our deals here, because this is where you can kind of get a lot of information about them. I don't have any attachments on this one, but this is where you can actually attach your quotes and files and things that you need to, so you're not going to lose track of those. And those will save on our system for you, so you have that. Of course, you have all of the quote notes and things like that you might have. I've already kind of gone over the notes, so I'm not going to dig too much into that here, but you can take as many notes on a deal as you would like. And then, of course, you can connect as many contact records to this as well. So this is where you can see all of the contact records that are connected to this particular account. Assignments, we have a quick assign to up here so you can really quickly see it. But if you want to get the details of that assignment, you can also open this up if you have more details that you would like about an assignment. So one thing about competitor products, this is what some people call X dates. So this is a nice thing in our system. If you would like to, you can change our names of relationships. Just call this X dates. And now it more probably reflects the type of things that you would like. Of course, if I want to, I can just add a new X date type of item in there. So I'm just going to type in a couple of quick things here. And let's see, 2026, maybe it's June 1st. And now we have now we have that data in there that can help us potentially work this particular deal later in time. Okay, so opportunities. So opportunities in our system are essentially specific policy types that are an opportunity for you to close. And what we do is we combine all of the opportunity types into value up here as well. So the more opportunities we add, it kind of increases the total value of the deal. So if you're wondering where that value comes from, it's by the opportunities. And of course, quotes, which we're not going to dig into too much today, but you're going to run your quotes and put the data into ClientCircle here so that you can see the general aspect of the quote. So you can do that through file attachments. You can add the quotes in manually, and we'll be working on some integrations for you as well over time. So that will be, a phase, 2 or so that's in our platform to be able to help you do quotes more quickly. We're not building a quoting system. We're going to build some integrations with existing systems. So that's kind of the overview of a deal. Of course, you can add your own attributes into a deal as well. So if you have specific data that you want to collect, then you can put that in there. So that's a good time for me to switch over to our settings here and show you some of these deal settings. So we'll go into settings and you'll have a new section for deals. And inside of deals, you'll see every pipeline that you have. So we have our personal lines pipeline and commercial lines pipeline here. Let's go into our personal lines pipeline and we're going to edit this deal type. And here you can see those are the priorities. These are the default priorities. Here's the statuses that we have and also our closed statuses. One thing that I want to show you is this lost status. I'm going to demonstrate this here in a little bit, but when we have a lost status, what we're saying is we're going to actually require the person to fill out the lost reason. And this is a really good practice, by the way, to keep track of when you are losing a deal. Why did you lose the deal? And the idea being that you can work on those and hopefully improve your processes or maybe not even quote certain people that are going to be in a certain group where you're going to lose it regardless and save time. So this is a really good thing to have these required fields and as a different status. Of course, here's where we put that lost status in there, but let's add a new field in here. I'm just going to call it my custom field and my custom field here. We're going to name it, make it a text field. That's fine. And we're just going to update this. We're going to save it. And I want to show you where this goes now. So I have that new field. And if I go back to our personal lines pipeline, okay, and now I'm looking at a deal. Let's just open this deal up and let's edit the settings for our details here. And I want to add I want to show a new field, and there's our new custom field. So I'm going to go ahead and show that on this page. And now I'm going to edit this deal. And we have our custom field in here. So let's set that. And now we can see that we have that value. So that really gives you, this is just one example of how you can use custom fields to make your process the way that you want it to be. And then I'm going to show you next week how we can use custom fields and things to drive automations. So if you want to tag people a certain way, it might change how your automations run and communicate with the customer differently or move it into a different pipeline and things like that. So you have a lot of options and variability for how you want to use the platform in your workflow. So that's sort of our pipelines. I want to show you what happens when we close a deal because I talked a little bit about, let's go to this finalizing one here. I showed you that required field, and I want to show you what that process looks like. If I close a deal, and I can set my status. I'm going to set it to lost because this is the status that has that required field. Of course, you can change these statuses to anything that you like, but I'm going to set it to lost. And now you can see immediately that lost reason pops up. You can see if I go to a different one, I don't get that reason. But this gives us some really important data collection items for your team. So I'm sure you have them going through different processes and you have procedures in place to say, hey, when this thing happens, make sure that you fill out this field. And we can really force that using this process to make sure people are giving you the data. And so that's in general how pipelines are. I want to show you just a couple of ways that we can collect data. So I'm going to go back over to settings again. So we go to settings. I want to show you, we have forms, of course. And if you have used our websites, you are pretty familiar with forms and you know how those work. But of course, if you aren't using our websites and actually our forms work on any type of website, you can contact us and we'll help you set these up. But when we edit our forms now, we have the different form fields, but we have new actions to create a deal. So you essentially select the pipeline that you want that deal to go into. And then as people fill out that form, it's going to create a deal in the system. And then, of course, with automations that I'm going to show, you'll be able to be notified about that and, start the process and things like that. So I have a test website here. This is one of our websites. This is the Juergens Insurance test website. And on this website, there's several quote forms. There happens to be one right here at the bottom of the website. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. Let's see. Let's see, we are at 317 6th Avenue, Suite 102. This is a very simple quote form, by the way. They can for sure be a lot more complex. I'm going to go ahead and opt into receiving text, and I'm not a robot. Okay, so I'm going to submit this, and then it does take a couple of seconds for things to process and to get into our system, but it should be relatively quick. So 1 second, let me open this other screen back up. Okay, so let's go back here. We're on our forms. Let's go to our pipeline. And there we go. We have the form that was just put in. As you'll notice, new items come into what we call a not set status. Essentially, that separates everything that you haven't seen from things that you've looked at. So here you can look at the quote, view the contact record, that was created for that. So you can see it automatically created a prospect, and we can get the details of that person. And then even then from here, we can see the connected deal that we have. And essentially, Now you would go through your normal process to kind of work that deal, to view that form input and things, and then process that over. I'm not going to get into too much detail on how to run a quote and things like that because that's your job. But as you go through that process, you can come back into here and update those. Of course, if you need to, you can update the values and things like that. So now, that's great for deals and things, but also agencies have a lot of other workflows. In fact, I'm going to go back out to our website here, and I just want to revisit our services tab. So I'm sure you might have similar places on your website where you have requests to make a policy change and things like that. And then what happens with that when it comes into your office, right? So you might get an email about that with the fields that you need to do. If you're lucky, it might create a task in a system. So we are introducing a new thing called service workflows. And these workflows, again, are very similar to deals, except in the fact that they have statuses and things that I'm going to show you, except next week, I'm going to show you how you can create automations around these. So workflows give you a really nice way to actually build a workflow around a request to make sure that things get done. And if you need to, you can build automations for customers as well. So again, I'm just going to show you really quickly this website. I'm not going to make you sit through me filling out these forms because you kind of seen how it works with the quote form, but all of these forms can then flow into a workflow very similar to what we have there. So let's actually go look at these particular workflows in our system. So we'll go back here and we're on our deals. So let's go to workflows. So this is our new workflow system. And again, you can set up as many different workflows as you would like. I have a few in here just to kind of get us started. Let's go look at policy review. So by the way, policy reviews, workflows don't need to just be started by a form. Policy, workflows can be created in lots of other automations and things. So you might have an automation in our system created that says, hey, I need to review policies of a certain type, and then it's going to automatically create a workflow for you so that you can start that process. You don't need to wait for the customer to start a policy review, for example. So let's go take a look at a couple sample policy reviews here. Okay, so we just have a couple of sample policy review workflows in here. And really, we're going to get into a lot more detail with workflows next week when we talk about automations, because that's really the heart behind workflows. But in general, one thing to keep in mind is that workflows can have essentially any number of tasks related to them. So as you're working on a workflow, you might have tasks that need to be completed, at a certain state, and those will be in the system. Otherwise, workflows and pipelines work very similarly with the UI that we have. And again, that's one of the neat things about our platform is that we're really trying to bring as much consistency into how you navigate and move around and use things in the system so that as you learn how it works in one place, you can kind of apply that across the board. So workflows should look and feel very similar to how deals work as well. So that makes it really easy to train your staff on how to work it. One thing that I haven't shown yet actually is this neat edit mode option that we have here. So anytime that you see some items in your workflow and also any tasks and deals as well that need to be changed, or if you'd like to copy them, you just hover your mouse over them. You have this nice option here. When you click edit, you go into edit mode, which actually opens up editing on all of the items on the page. So you can really edit anything. So let's maybe say this is really just home. I can do that and save. And it saves all of the records on the page at the same time, which is great. So really love that new edit mode that we're going to have here. But let's go look at a workflow here. And again, we're going to get into a lot more detail around workflows and automations next week. And that's when we'll cover tasks. Tasks aren't showing here today, but we'll turn that on for next week so that you can see how you can add tasks on workflows as well. Of course, you can add as many notes on every workflow item as you want, connect it to contact records and things so that you have them associated with people. And then, of course, you can drag and drop them. You can move them around in order as necessary, just like you could on every other UI. You can look at your open workflows in a table, or maybe you want to group it by different statuses and things like that. But overall, again, the real powerful part of workflows is going to be around automations. And so I really highly encourage you to come to that webinar. Actually, it's a good time to kind of flip back over to my PowerPoint because I want to kind of close things up. Give me 1 second. Let me flip over. Okay, I think I have the right screen here. So today we talked about sales and service pipelines. Please watch the replays on the other things, customizable UI, task and notes, inbox sync from prior weeks. And again, as I said, next week we're going to be talking about enhanced automations. That is on November 13th. So sign up at clientcircle.com/webinars. That's really going to be the last webinar in terms of the simple overviews of these systems. Again, these features are all coming. By the end of the year, we're working really hard to get them released. We're not going to release them until they're ready. We have a few more things left to do. We're still tweaking the UI. Actually, if you have been following along and you watch the webinars, you'll see small tweaks in our UI, even from 1 week to the other. So we're working really hard on this. We have a lot of people, every day that are tweaking things and really making sure that it's right, getting feedback from people, and making sure that when we release it, it's going to work really well for you. So November 13th, sales and service automations. Sign up at clientcircle.com/webinars. And we're going to be talking about some good stuff then. And then if you are not a customer and you would like to learn more about these things, talk with someone on our sales team, clientcircle.com/demo, and we'll show you around. And with that said, I'm going to at least turn my video off and focus on chat here. And I hope everybody has an awesome rest of your week. We will see you next week, and have a great one. We will talk to you soon.